So 2009. 2009 was a very important year in the history of Internet. It was an inflection point. In 2009, the Internet of people was outnumbered by the Internet of Things. And in 2009, we started first time to see that camera systems, smoke detectors, all these little pieces connected to the Internet are becoming more relevant than people connected to the Internet. And that's a huge change for the Internet because basically it makes it very hard to keep such an Internet secure, because these little pieces are very easy to attack, and these little pieces are then also very easy to be used as a weapon to attack other targets. So today our planet counts approximately 8 billion people, about 5 to 6 billion people are connected to the Internet. We count about 45 billion devices connected to the Internet and about 16 billion Internet of Things applications connected to the Internet. What is a bit concerning is that obviously these devices are now used to attack services. We all remember probably last year when President Zelensky was talking to the parliament in Switzerland that some websites were taken offline with a classic DDoS attack. That's, let's say, a reputational damage. But what is more concerning, that we see a lot of critical infrastructure is moving to the Internet. We see the financial services obviously depends a lot on the Internet. We see energy is moving fast to the Internet. Almost every solar panel is connected to the Internet. Almost every heat pump is connected to the Internet. Healthcare is using the Internet. Government, obviously, transportation, communication. And if we then see how these vulnerabilities are used from the dark side, it is quite concerning. So it's great to see that if there is a new infrastructure built like the SUI blockchain, which is critical infrastructure for digital assets transaction, is using the sign. This is an amazing proof point that this technology can really protect critical infrastructure. And if we see how fast we are moving with critical infrastructure to the old Internet, it is concerning. One very recent attack, you might want to look into more detail, so that's why the QR codes, you can download the paper. That was, in a way, a simple attack. It was just taking over a couple of solar panels, but the unfortunate thing is this is all standardized, so then you can basically reach all those solar panels wherever they are. So this Dutch hacker was capable to take over 4 million solar panels on a fingertip. And that's approximately 10 to 15 gigawatt of power. That's about 10 to 15 nuclear power stations in your control. And we all can understand what it means if you switch that stuff off. At the same time, we see also that Internet of Things is growing faster than ever. So the Internet is growing faster than ever in history. And these Internet of Things pieces connected to the Internet, that's in a way also then driving the denial of service attacks in a concerning way. So we remember the 2000 when we had the first real DDoS attacks. They were like 3 gigabit per second or something. This year we saw the first 3.5 terabit DDoS attacks. And not only the heftiness of these attacks are growing exponentially, but also the number of these attacks. And this is a concerning trend because basically what it says is like it gets much cheaper to attack and it gets much more expensive to defend. That's an unfortunate trend started in the 90s. And I'm really grateful that Adrian saw this trend very early and was sort of researching fundamentally on the problem of interdomain protocols. So if we look at all the attack surfaces of a company. I'm not going into all the details how to protect the different attack vectors you face when you go online with a company or with an enterprise organization. Basically, you can segment them in maybe four segments. But most important, and the fact is that today we see about 40 different defense systems operational to protect corporate environment, 40 security applications, like mail gateways, web application, firewalls, proxy, you name it. And all these systems have to be commissioned, put in operation. All these systems need then to be maintained, operated over time. And most concerning, all these systems, again, raise in complexity and therefore show more and more zero-day vulnerabilities you again introduce into your ecosystem. So what we see here are only the zero-day vulnerabilities, not the vulnerabilities, zero-day vulnerabilities of only the major remote access systems used for home worker, for people working remote, from the main providers, the Cisco, it's Fortinet, Ivanti, Palo Alto. There are more, but this is basically the largest and the most relevant. So now if we look at how is this used from the dark side, it's pretty concerning how automated this is happening. So we see every service exposed to the internet is currently scanned about 30,000 times per day, so that's no news. We will also learn later on in the day a bit more about this case, but this is a very exciting case to see how the dark side is operating. And you know, we learned, when I was studying all this stuff, I learned, yeah, you have to patch, and you have to do your homework, and then you're safe. Well, the other side is pretty sophisticated. So we see about 30,000 scans basically trying to figure out where our ports and where our IP address is responding. And then obviously we see then also about 1,000 attacks. These are not dangerous attacks, these are fingerprinting attacks, these are riddling at the door. Basically it's about to figure out what is deployed there. And so they create a catalog of stuff installed. And obviously, that stuff is exposed to the world, and the world is growing, the internet is growing, and the malicious stuff out there is growing. So what is then the consequence of that? And that was exciting to see that we were very close to this zero-day, 10th of January, of a remote access that has been communicated. There was a zero-day communicated 10th of January. At the 15th of January, we had 1,700 corporates compromised. 1,700 in 5 days. So obviously, this is not a hacker doing stuff. This is fully automated, it's fully orchestrated, it's very professional. I mean, even if somebody tells you, let's go and patching 1,700 systems in 5 days, you need to know your stuff to do that. So they attack in that frequency. And this is now where SCION comes in, where we are extremely excited to learn that basically SCION takes out all the fundamental issues of this very unfortunate trend. So governance, obviously, with the governance of SCION, you get digital sovereignty back. You get digital sovereignty for countries, but also large organizations. The security part is amazingly powerful because you control who gets your routing information. So let's say you have an SD-WAN. Every individual SD-WAN node can decide, okay, I give my routing information only to the other SD-WAN participants. So basically, this SD-WAN renders entirely invisible, inroutable for any attacker. That's a game changer in the design of how we will build networks in the future, and how we can build networks already today. And then obviously resiliency, it's very different if you have one path or if you have 100 paths and you can use them at the same time. What is now exciting that we were able to connect, and Adrian talked about it before quickly, that we were able to connect with the Anapaya gate, the old internet with the new internet. So in Switzerland, 10 million users are reaching the SCION internet in a controlled way. The gate is a gateway to the old internet, connecting individual autonomous systems, creating the old internet into the SCION internet. And that's very powerful because the first time we see now that we can limit the attack surface and reduce the malicious attacks basically to zero. Obviously, that's phenomenal to see that this entire movement we all create in this room, all these people here are moving SCION forward, that this is now brought to scale to protect critical infrastructure in the SCION network and still make it available to a large group of people. So in Switzerland, there is full coverage. In the world, we see the coverage growing fast. We heard about the Miston Labs. We have other rings. Adrian was talking about it. We reach about 180 data centers globally. So this is moving very well and very nice. But obviously, we don't reach full coverage to every household yet. This is changing now in Benelux. So we are deploying a full-blown gate infrastructure in Benelux, reaching 40 million users. And then obviously, we need more and more global partners. I'm very excited that we can talk about global players today. We have more global players in the room than ever. I would like to ask Carl quickly on stage. We hear afterwards from Carl more. Yeah, this is your applause.
How you doing, Martin?
Yeah, great, because I think it's really a great and amazing day. First, this is the largest SCION day ever, and then obviously to basically announce that we can cover entire Switzerland. That's almost no news anymore, that we can now cover entire Benelux. Yep. That's going to be no news in January, but that we can cover together with the British Telco the world. I think that's big news, and that's basically what we talk about since almost a year, huh?
Yes.
Almost a year. So that has been cooking a year, and now you're here, and now we are going. And you have to tell the audience just quickly why they should listen to the next session.
Thank you, Martin. So it's an exciting time to be part of this SCION journey. Hopefully, most of you know BT. Like Martin said, we started this, literally it is 1 year, because I was literally in this audience last year listening about SCION for the first time, and now we're part of the story, if you like. And it's an exciting time for this because BT, if you're not aware, BT has just launched our new network as a service called Global Fabric. It's a big telecom change for the industry, huge, in fact, and it's going to be exciting to see SCION as part of that. And so you're going to hear a bit more about what BT's doing, along with Digital Realty, because Digital Realty is one of our partners to enable Global Fabric, and others which I shan't mention. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In these big corporates, in these big organizations, there are always a lot of people who say, well, we always did it that way, so this is great, this is moving. You have been one of those managers and leaders who say we have to embrace the new stuff.
You've got to embrace it. Yeah.
And sometimes I was always a bit like, oh wow, this is really tough to move such a big ship.
Lots of naysayers, and lots of technology that you can compare and contrast. But yeah, it's a big game changer, and it's great that BT is part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Cheers.
you.